All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Tuesday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and once again pop back up on webcam. But great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live. Great to have all of us back inside the live trading room. We have Leda, Brian, we had Grant just before. I saw Michael and John just a moment ago. We got Mike C. Good sound from him. Well, hello there as well, Brian. Great to have you back. And with that, let's hop right to it, folks. I mean, hey, we have the Phase 3 class actually continuing this afternoon. Normally, that's Fausto trading live, in front of you folks for the market close. I got the hot tag, so I'm going to be actually teaching that class heading into this afternoon. So even more for my sake than anything, right? Just like for you folks, I want to make sure I have enough time, just like you, to prepare, line up some charts and some stocks going into the afternoon. So I look forward to teaching the Phase 3 class for Ronnie or Mark S. or Ravina or any of us that have access to that class. I look forward to seeing you there. We'll look to post the link for that in the chat coming up in just a moment. Actually, really quick before I actually go from top to bottom, because we conducted our Traders Talk workshop earlier today. I had mentioned at the end of the workshop, just hey, a little small little bio about myself. I had one of our new members from Rob Booker's Hot Sheets group ask about that, right? Kind of, he's heard about Fausto over the years. He's been with Rob Booker for a long while. And obviously, I'm just some regular guy, some jabron, basically. So I wanted to give a small little bio of myself, but I said, hey, I wanted to show you this cool little picture. I've been doing this since October of 2014 with Fausto, and I was pretty headstrong early on with the education aspect. So I was mentioning in our Traders Talk workshop, I was like, I remember posting on Instagram this, picture back from like November of 2014. Here it is. It's back in my childhood house at the time, basically on a laptop studying Fausto's, one of Fausto's old classes back then. I could tell it was a Sunday because I see a little football in the background there. Not a whole lot's changed though. Got my energy drink right here, just like that. So, time's a flat circle to a degree. But with that, though, hey, BIOR, at least on the screen right now, we'll start off by going through the stock, and then we'll go from top to bottom after. But the BIOR, I tried to chart this going into this meeting. If I can There we go. I tried to chart this stock going into this meeting, going into 2:30, but it kept moving up and up higher and higher. So, for right now, it just backed off of $4, but it did break above a couple of different historical levels I found from the daily chart. So that being off of 355 and off of 375 there, just roughly this little base that we had back from the end of last year where, it bottomed out roughly at 355, these two red bars. Then the other days, it really did a good solid number of holding right off 375. So I felt compelled to plot both of them. Now, hey, the fact that it broke above not only one, but both of them, this range here should act as a potential support later on. So although it just backed off of resistance at $4 just now, we'll see if this could look to build up as a higher low as support taking us into the afternoon. So yeah, we'll definitely start by putting this BIOR trade just on our watch list. All right. Now, otherwise, really quick, how about this? Hey, if you didn't join us yet inside our live trading room, if you're on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, you got to join us here. From Mark or Ravina or Brian or perhaps Ronnie or any of us, hey, what was the other stock I was calling out just in the chat? Scroll up in the chat. What was the other stock I was kind of commenting on prior to 2:30 here? It's been honestly pretty slow afternoon so far, more of a drag. Markets haven't gone much of anywhere, albeit slowly up. What other stock was I calling out or commenting on just a moment ago? Because these are the ones that I'm more interested in trading. Well, we just covered the BIOR trade there, Mark. So, Jasper, we'll go over that next. But Carol hit it, right? NIO, and I was looking for a move over 1106 on this trade. I'm still in on half my share count right now, half my position. So, hopefully this continues up for my sake. But it's tradable. And the reason why I'm focused on this right now is for you folks heading into the afternoon, it's not up that 5% or more that we would normally look for, but it's getting close to that point. It's had a pretty strong day altogether. Maybe there could be something else that looks as good, if not better than this from our side list. So, we'll go throughout our side list at the end, after we go across the gainers and losers lists, but I'll definitely put NEO on our watch list, not only because I'm in it, but, it's just trending up really well. It's getting close to the high of the day there, and it's just a tradable liquid stock. So, it's definitely more for any one of us inside this live trading room. All right. Then we'll just do Jasper. Then we'll go from top to bottom because Jasper, I did comment on, I did call out, and I ended up taking a 2-cent loss, 2-cent loss on this trade. The reason that I was calling this out is because although it was like slumping down lower, it was breaking down here at this point, pushed back up. I had no interest in this trade whatsoever, really. I'm going to bring up Bookmap right now briefly. Let me just, there we go. Oh, he's back. There we go. So there was a huge iceberg order popped up on the bid. Just I caught it like within seconds of it being posted, like probably right here where my cursor is. I had noticed it flipping through my Bookmap, and with at least as much as it had dropped off, to see that type of order out there, I'm thinking, there's a chance that this could squeeze back up, make a move up to the VWAP. So I jumped in off of 180. I ended up getting stopped out off of 177 it was, so 3-cent loss. But I didn't really focus on it since after. I saw the order get pulled. So at that point, I assumed I was going to get stopped out, which I did. But I guess this iceberg's back now. Pretty much roughly the same size, about 148,000 shares. This here at the time was 143. So, yeah, I mean, it's roughly around the same size, give or take a few thousand. But, is it possible this could squeeze up now higher into the close? Maybe, but not just enough for me to feel confident with putting this on our list. I'll put this on our side list for right now, maybe come back to this by the end. If it ends up making like a stronger move here in the next few minutes, if that iceberg order moves up in price, if they try and ladder it up a little bit, if I notice that, then we'll perhaps focus on it. But, there's definitely some better trades at this point. The market's been grinding on up, really not a great move, but, it's trended on up. There's a couple of other stocks briefly while I'm at it. Mara, M-A-R-A, I'm sure we would have ran into this at some point on the gainer side. With the way NEO's looking, this is looking much better with this just at the highs already. So, my stance on the crypto stocks going into the afternoons at 2:30. If you're like a longtime student, if you're a regular on YouTube or social media, watch these meetings daily. Anytime we have Mara or Riot up big in particular, it's tough to expect continuation as good as it looks. But, hey, it's tradable. It does look good. So I'm sure one of these days I'll have a little egg on my face and, one of these crypto miners will explode from this point into the close. But we caught it last week, right? Like last week, we saw Mara probably up even more than it is now. And it was at the highs just like it is now. And I forewarned you folks. I said, be careful. This could, just kind of fall off or just not really make that big push that you want, kind of wasting your time. That's what I'm saying. So Mara, for right now, I'll put on our list, a little reluctant. Coinbase, I also charted going into the phase 3 class later on today. Just wanted to try and prep that up in advance. But, this had a really nice run from before, breaking above resistance off of 41. Actually, earlier before that, it ended up showing good volume off of 40.50. It ended up having like a big 150,000 share sell print, at that price. But, hey, it ended up flipping that eventually into support over time. Then it ended up leading to a new run up. So Coinbase is up a little bit more right now. I'll put this on our list here too. We have Mara, Coinbase, we have NEO, and the BIOR, at least for right now. But what we'll do is go from top to bottom, and we'll see what else we have here, folks. Got energy drink. I got water there too, because the energy drink, not always the best thing when you're on the mic for like 4 or 5 hours a day. So with that, let's just go from top to bottom. I did not see this AMLI, I guess apparently up 729%. Daily chart doesn't really reflect that. My guess would be that that's some sort of like reverse split that I factored in. Look at this, just blasted higher. And in fact, whoa. All right, so we turned our eyes away from this trade for a moment. I guess so strong to the point where, well, it didn't break down below this line even. We were expecting this range to be a support. I mean, this thing's so damn strong. It just kind of held above 375 and then popped higher. So obviously we already have the BIOR on our watch list already. SHC, all right, this is grinding back on up too. I was not a fan of this trade earlier today. Granted, it moved up, across the morning, and you could say relatively steady off the lows, but it was more of a grind. This stock had pretty thin volume out there on the order book, and with the types of trades we've been catching lately, like Cala and a couple more we'll go through in a moment, like AMAM, those ended up making a pretty sharp move like you would want. this did not really make as sharp of a move, albeit moved up. Hopefully now at this point, this can make a better trade going into the close than it even did from the morning. So I don't mind putting this back on our list, SHC, at least now more than the morning, actually. This is actually a better thing about it. The spreads are more contained. Since Traders Talk, really, the spreads have filled in a little bit more on this, which I appreciate more. So, we'll put this back on our list, give it another go. Now we're kind of like in like cheapy land here. We got a bunch of these stocks below $1. Rich private chatted me earlier today, and he was saying like, I can't believe how much Party City fell off for it to be running up over 83-85% right now. It ended up making a huge pop off of like 27, 28 cents, the highs here, and then completely exploded up towards 42. We normally don't trade these stocks below $1. Don't get me wrong, this is not like a pink sheet bulletin board stock. This is a NASDAQ national stock. If not NASDAQ, then NYSE listed stock. But, normally we try and contain ourselves to above $1. So, nice little move on Party City. If you're in it already from a lower price, then congratulations. But, we'll see what else we got. DATS here, more cheapies. Box D, former runner in the past for us. I didn't realize how much this had dropped off since then, though. Just see right there. All right. G-Sun, hey, this had a little resistance earlier. We were going over this in the Traders Talk workshop, and goes to show that this never ended up making its way back up towards that 286, 293. It was in a range where we had resistance at 293 on the ask, and we had support at 296 on the bid here, and it broke below it, and that was it. So, perhaps trying to make another run back up here, but I'm not fully sold on it right now. Maybe I'll put this on our side list, come back to it in about a few minutes. Now this did not do us too much, after the open. It dropped off. We were expecting the drop off at least, but what it failed to do was really make that run back up from 240. I had plotted out 240 as a key iceberg level early this morning in pre-market. We were going over that in our Traders Talk workshop. This was one of a couple of trades that I ended up, it wasn't death by 1,000 paper cuts, but, a little profit giving back there, a couple of losses, small losses off the 240. So now it's back over that 240 level. Is it trying to tease us and rope us back in for one more run? Possibly. Order book checks out well, right? So I'll also put this on our side list, come back to this just at the end. Follow some stocks that are making stronger up moves right now near the highs. GOTU could definitely be one of those. Let me just check in with the gap fill on this. I forgot about this. This had gap down alongside the other Chinese education companies like TAL and EDU. High here was off of 430. It peaked back at the end of last year, right off of 423, got close. Dropped off for a little bit after, and I didn't realize that it's been making its way back up now, so that's why I've been just kind of observing that. It's near the highs on the intraday chart, so I'd be remiss to not put this on our list. GOTU, we'll check out TAL. This one's more dead than anything, though. This sounds like really flat, and the GOTU also is pretty flat, but, this is bad. So for right now, out of any of them, we'll focus on the GOTU trade. Mara already on our list. Voyager, I think, right? VYGR. This was one from yesterday. It was a dud, and not a whole lot happening on it right now. CVAC, same thing. SIDU from this morning. Had a couple of nice trades on this one from earlier, but now at this point, it's a dud. I guess we missed out on SMMT bouncing back up. This has had a strong run for us since December, and definitely one that we'll keep on our side list now for this week. FRO, it's had a nice day so far, pulling back a little bit right now since we've been starting this meeting, but yeah, for right now, we'll see what else is out there. All right, so let's go from the gainers to the losers list right now, see what else we got. We got BCAP down big. I didn't realize that from this morning. It's just flat now, so like I had said on TAL, we'll pass on this. ETF Boyle, it's shortable. Hey, it's easy to borrow. So, if you know how to follow this ETF in particular, then I'm sure that you'll personally put it on your watch list. But let's see what else we got. EURN, not a whole lot happening there. BLI, same thing. Actually, you know what? The same thing with Boyle. I'll say with Boyle, same to be said on the cold trade. So cold moving back on up right now, making new highs. This, though, I brought up previously to Chuck and a few others. This is more of a swing trade than a day trade now than anything, not only because it's moved up on the chart. Like that means, yeah, it's worked out since, but the order book is thinning out. This is not really a great day trade because the order book is really thinning out a lot more. The Boyle ETF, the cheaper it gets, the more liquid it becomes. So, perhaps over time, we're going to focus more on Boyle as a day trade than anything else. All right, so let's see what else we got here across the losers list. Markets really haven't gone much of anywhere, so we could find a couple of gems on either side. Right now, box slumping off right now, so technically it's tradable, it's shortable, but I don't know, not really a great need to put this on our watch list right now. Dish moving better, at least across the last hour and a half. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, not a whole great need to put much else on our watch list here. We'll go through the stocks I said we're going to be on our side list, like Jasper, GSUN, and PRE. If there's anything else, though, top to bottom, up or down more than that 5%, just type it in the chat board now. Just let me know. Go through a couple of different trades here. JSPR hasn't gone much of anywhere since that order showed up. It's not showing on my level 3. It's probably through the EDGX ECN there. If it's not on NASDAQ, it'll be on that. If it's showing on Bookmap at least. So, it's possible that could pop. I'm not a big fan of maybes or possiblies. Like I want more conviction. So I'm going to hold off on that for right now. The GSUN trade is creeping back up. That does show more momentum, more activity at this time. So it doesn't hurt us to put this on our main list. And then this thing. Am I going to get lured into trading this in class, folks? Like I'd said just before on the Jasper, if I'm unsure, it's best to just avoid it right now. Markets don't look too active altogether. We have a decent list already. We don't really need to force anything on our watch list right now. So at least for the meantime, I'll pass on this PRE trade. All right, folks. So, hey, for any of our gold, platinum, diamond CTU students, make sure that you folks click that link right there to get access to the Phase 3 class, the Phase 3 stock course. I'll be teaching that, of course, I had mentioned from the top of the meeting, tagging in for Fausto on that one. So I look forward to it. For any of our trial members from Rob Booker's Hot Sheets group, just make sure that you folks talk to your education advisor. They're the midpoint contact between yourself and Fausto, yourself and myself at least. But they're here to go over any questions that you have with the trading room, where to access everything on the student portal. So I'm going to post the phone number right to our office in the chat board for any of our trial students or trial members or members from Rob Booker's Hot Sheets group. If you haven't booked a time yet with your education advisor, just make sure to do so. Now I'm just jumping on YouTube right now. My apologies. We got a couple of chats right now. The SIDU trade from earlier, it's not doing much of anything right now. And then Doug C just rejoining us right now on YouTube. LCID, if you haven't went over it yet. Yeah, LCID does look pretty good, doesn't it? So it's over 5. It's at the highs of the day. Similar trend like with Mara. In fact, it's like kind of moving up a little bit more parabolically of late. So, this could be a nice short squeeze taking us into the close. Couple of different larger orders that stand out here. So, what I want to do is put this up on Bookmap on level 4, and we'll focus on this also in class. So good call from Doug. All right, folks. So for all of us on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, really briefly, we had done our Traders Talk workshop live. Normally, it's exclusive inside our live trading room. We had done that on our YouTube channel just earlier this morning. Probably like once every a couple months, we'll look to do that now going forward across this year. But if you had missed out on that workshop, it's right there on our YouTube channel, just under the most recent recordings that you'll see there. So if you haven't watched that, just be sure to check that out. And if you have any other questions in relation to what we had talked about in that workshop, feel more than free to shoot me a quick email. josh@c2trading.com is my email. All right, folks, I appreciate you joining us each and every day, each and every afternoon. For any of our students coming up here in class, I look forward to seeing you folks in just a moment. Talk to you soon.